What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. The Elimination Chamber and the way the show ended tonight makes you feel good. It reminds you of all the things that are great about being a wrestling fan. Such a great feel-good moment by the time this thing all wrapped up. In fact, there were two feel-good moments, and they both were centered around the Elimination Chamber, but that does not mean that the WWE is free to do the rest of the shit that they did to us tonight during the Elimination Chamber, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Elimination Chamber Reaction Show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. Kofi Kingston. You cannot start a review or anything pertaining to the 2019 Elimination Chamber without bringing up the name Kofi Kingston. Yeah, it came out of left field. Yeah, it wasn't planned. And the WWE were just kind of forced to come up with something on the fly because Mustafa Ali went down with injury. And it's more often than not that when the WWE gets backed into a corner, that we get something great, like we got at the end of tonight's Elimination Chamber matchup. Kofi Kingston, for over 10 years, has been this good. He has been this guy that you've seen tonight. But the WWE never really put him in a prime position. In fact, 10 years ago, he was in a big-time feud with Randy Orton. And it is only now, almost a decade later, that this guy gets his revenge on the Viper in tonight's Elimination Chamber matchup. There was a lot wrong with this matchup. Don't get it twisted. Now, the end of this matchup made up for all of its errors because it was refreshing. It was something new, and the fan support for Kofi Kingston was out of this world. And if you can just imagine 1 year ago at this time, how over with the crowd Daniel Bryan was as a babyface, and where he is now as a heel, that the entirety of Houston, Texas, and probably the entire world was pulling for Kofi Kingston to beat Daniel Bryan tonight in the Elimination Chamber. What a testament to his work as a heel. And you can't take away, like I said, Kofi Kingston's contribution to this matchup and to everything that was this pay-per-view tonight. Goes above and beyond the Call of Duty. This guy really showed why he's even there in the first place. He's not there to flip fucking pancakes and ride on unicorn backs and be on up, up, down, down and be this New Day comedy act. He's there and has been there to be a professional wrestler. And tonight, man, hats off. Hats off and hammers all around for Kofi Kingston. That was a fantastic performance. He made me feel. He gave me the feels. I sat there watching wrestling and felt all of these nostalgic feelings like, holy shit, this is a great moment. We haven't felt a moment like that since the days of Daniel Bryan trying to ascend to the top of the WWE. The feeling that I got sitting at home was probably equal to the feeling in the crowd that night. It was just unbelievable. And that's the reason why we all watch wrestling. All that greatness about the end of this show can also be attributed to the finish of the beginning of the show. We can't go any further without talking about Sasha Banks and Bayley. The Boston... I'm sorry, I tried. I thought maybe now that they won the SmackDown or the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships and have made history that I would actually be able to pronounce that name, but it is still so nauseating and just absolutely blah that I just can't say the Boston connection. So Sasha and Bayley finally get some measure of respect, I guess. Now, there's two ways to come down on this. You can be on either side, and it's okay how you feel. You can either be like me and just be proud of these girls and finally share in their joy, in some sort of an accomplishment, that they're not just being thrown aside. They are now in the history books. They have made history, and it's absolutely great. Or you could come down on the side of the women's tag team division is nothing. They did nothing to build this thing up and really make it seem special, and you probably might not have been as invested as some of us might have been. But by the end of this match, don't count the beginning, because the whole first half of this chamber match, while it did have a couple of cool moments here and there, it was very, very boring. And you could almost predict everything that was going to happen. And many of us probably were assuming that the Samoan slaughterhouse, the two biggest cows in the pen, Nia Jax and Tamina, isn't that, don't the two biggest cows in a slaughterhouse usually get decapitated? And that's what happened tonight. And nobody expected that to happen. A lot of people were picking them to win this thing and to piss off the WWE Universe, and then go on to have a match with Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania where they could have won the titles there and had a big WrestleMania moment, which would have maybe made up for it, I guess. But I'm much more partial to the less controversy. Give me something to celebrate. Give me a reason to pat you guys on the back and say, hey, look, the WWE did something right. They put the right championships on the right girls, and where we go from here is where we all have to be concerned. But let's not go too far ahead. Let's worry about tonight, and let's just all be happy that Sasha and Bayley have finally been given some respect, especially for Bayley. And maybe this will be something good. Maybe their words that they said at the end of the chamber, how this is just the beginning and they plan to change the business even further for women, and maybe they're going to take this seriously and do something with it leading into WrestleMania and for years beyond. And hopefully this isn't just a thing that they try and then fails, which is something that WWE is notorious to do, especially in the last couple of years. But, pretty much the more it fails, the more they'll push it. Because that's what they're accustomed to doing for the most part. But aside from these chamber matches, and as whether you think they were great or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is we had the right winners. We also had the right winners in the Tag Team Championship match for SmackDown Live. I don't care anymore about anything that is going on with Shane McMahon and The Miz. All I can give two shits about is the fact that the Usos are now the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. Where I want them to go with this is very simple. Take what you're doing with the women and do it with the men. Unify the tag team titles at WrestleMania. You have the Usos as the SmackDown Live champions. You got the Revival as the Raw champions. And you have the titles unified. Revive the old World Tag Team Championships, as the Revival has been teasing on social media as of late. And all will be well in the tag team division. Trust me. You rotate matches across all brands. You have them show up even on NXT once in a while, giving an NXT tag team a championship at main roster gold, while there's so many teams down there that aren't getting a shot at the NXT tag team championships. Or just do something interesting. Champion versus championship matches, inter-brand promotional matches, make things special with the tag team division. That's how you can get it over. You don't just have to give us the same old repetitive garbage day in and day out, every Monday and every Tuesday, showing us the same 4 teams, even though there's 15 teams. Like, we got to get away from that. And this is a great way to do that. And now that the Revival are the champions, and the Usos have taken the belts away from the ridiculous I need my daddy's love and affection act, the McNugget best friends of the world that nobody gives two shits about, that can all go away. And maybe the WWE is coming to their senses a little bit, because just by taking that initial first step of giving the Usos the belts, we are on a better direction on this road to WrestleMania pertaining to the tag team division. And the best thing they could do is unify the divisions, as we've been saying since the brand split happened initially. And that would be a great WrestleMania match. The Revival versus the Usos for the unified championships. Take my money right now. Just take it right out of my pocket. I'm ready for it. And then go from there with a more serious tone in the tag team division. We could say the same thing for the Intercontinental Championship. It is finally off the McNugget thing and the McDonald's thing. That's all Shane and The Miz, and we're going to get away from that. But this is the all-milk dud, not the McNugget, the all-milk dud, although his ass cheeks might look like a couple of McNuggets to you in the right angle. The all-milk dud, boring trashly Bobby Lashley has dropped the Intercontinental Championship without taking a pin, as we all expected. This was all very predictable. As soon as they made this match, I almost automatically assumed that this was going to be their way to get the belt on Finn Balor. And you know what? I'm okay with it. Was the match good? No. I mean, it was a little bit exciting, but I kind of was expecting what happened to happen. There was nothing shocking about it. There was nothing more to it than the fact that I was happy that the belt is now on somebody that could be a viable and real Intercontinental Champion, and can go on into WrestleMania and give us a big-time championship Intercontinental match. I'm happy that Finn Balor is the champion. I only hope that they keep Bobby Lashley far away from him from this moment on and give him somebody decent to fight. Build up a program between him and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Get Drew McIntyre away from these idiots. We're going to get to that in a second, but that would be the best thing to do for Drew McIntyre. Or bring back a returning Dolph Ziggler for one last chance at the spotlight. He can light it up with Finn Balor. They have enough time. There's 7 weeks until WrestleMania to make it interesting, and the Intercontinental Championship deserves a little bit of love and respect after it's been lingering in mediocrity over the last couple of months, especially with Bobby Lashley for the last few weeks, and all can be fixed, all by it being in the hands of Finn Balor. It would be great to see Finn be put into a meaningful feud and have them think the Intercontinental Championship is as important as it's supposed to be, and then maybe, hey, we'll see the Demon at WrestleMania. I know a lot of you guys were hopeful that Finn Balor was going to have nothing to do and his plate would be free to wrestle the Dead Man at WrestleMania, and you have the Demon versus the Dead Man. That was a great idea. We talked about it a couple of weeks back, but I would much rather see Finn Balor as the Demon defending the Intercontinental Championship against one of today's top prospects, possibly maybe even a Kofi Kingston if they don't do the right thing and take the steps necessary right now and place Kofi Kingston against Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania. That seems to be a no-brainer after what happened tonight, don't you think? Don't you think? But a good consolation prize for Kofi Kingston would be an Intercontinental Championship run for doing such fantastic work last minute like he has been doing, and having Finn Balor versus Kofi Kingston somehow would be a great match. I know they're on different brands right now and it wouldn't really make sense, but that's what the WWE is giving us to work with. Who on Raw would you give the championship to? Or the opportunity to? Nobody, because everybody on Raw is a piece of trash compared to the talent that we got going on SmackDown Live. What else do we have to talk about? The Women's Championship for Monday Night Raw. Since we're talking about a bunch of trash, here's one of the things we could bring the hammer down on. If you watched the preview and prediction show, you heard me say that I was afraid that the Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott match, too many R's, and I'm going to fuck it up, and excuse me if I do. This matchup, I thought, was going to suffer from the fact that it didn't have a female in it that can truly be a ring general and bring us to a great match. And I think what we saw tonight was the WWE's coming to that realization after booking themselves into a match that they have nobody to really take lead. Ruby Riott, as good as she is, has not really been proven to carry a match, and Ronda Rousey, we all know, needs a whole bunch of work. Thankfully, she came out in some cool gear tonight. I know she looked a little Shield-like, and some of you guys might not like that, but she wasn't actually repping the Shield. She was being Sonya Blade, like they like to say 100 times on commentary. If you didn't know, we need to give thanks to Mortal Kombat for giving her the voicing spot for Sonya Blade so she can come out and not be in those lip huggers that she's in. We're not watching her do this, pulling her shits down all night. She's not shifting her thises and that's, and she had no bullshit on her face. She looked good tonight. Ronda Rousey looked on point, and I think she should stick with this look. Maybe get rid of the flak jacket thing, but keep the long pants because it was a great look for you. It was the best I think she's looked on her outfit game since she's come to the WWE, and I really did appreciate that. Aside from that, Ruby Riott was made to look like a complete waste and a complete piece of trash. Ruby Riott deserved better than what happened tonight. Why even bother booking this match? Why not just have Ronda come out and have a fucking interview segment like you chose to give to Charlotte. Charlotte had a couple of minutes to come out and talk and bullshit. Why did there have to be a whole match in order for Ronda to come out and then for you guys to have Becky Lynch come out? And we're going to get to that in a second because I'm really on the fence with that as well. But I don't understand why this match was even necessary. Why did you have to disrespect Ruby Riott or not even try to give her anything to come out looking good with at all? This is the leader of the Riott Squad. And after what we've seen tonight, last Monday on Raw, when she took on the Riott Squad, Sarah Logan did better than Ruby Riott. Liv Morgan did fucking better than Ruby Riott. And Ruby Riott's the general of the Riott Squad. She should have been the one to at least bring Ronda to some sort of a challenge. But what, Ronda was so fired up because Charlotte Flair's sitting out there that Ruby Riott didn't have a chance? God damn it, Alicia Fox took Ronda Rousey more to the limit than Ruby Riott. I told you I was going to fuck it up. I told you I was going to. I called that shit too because I'm good at my predictions and I know what I'm talking about. All this for Becky Lynch to come hobbling out on some fucking crutches. Now, again, you might have been all in on this and been like, yeah, this is fucking great, right? And the moment, I'm not going to take anything away from the moment, it was cool to see Becky Lynch go all apeshit and start attacking Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey in the middle of the ring with a couple of crutches. But my initial problem with this is that this was unnecessary. This was somewhat a waste of time, and it would have been much more special had they held Becky Lynch off of television because she is suspended. And it really just made the WWE look stupid on all kinds of levels. There was no reason for her to be there tonight, and if she was there, she should have been stopped from getting to the ring by WWE officials, by security. It seemed like nobody gave a shit. It's not like she ran to the ring that nobody could catch her. The girl's walking about as slow as my grandma, and my grandma's not even alive anymore. Hobbling down there on crutches. I mean, they're really trying to do this Stone Cold Steve Austin parallel, and I don't appreciate that. Be original. Let her be Becky Lynch. Stop with this let's do the Stone Cold thing. Because it's so blatantly fucking obvious, especially in segments like this, and I didn't really appreciate it too much. It would have been much more special had they stick to the rules. This is the thing that they are writing. Becky Lynch is not going to be at the show. There was no need for her to be at the Elimination Chamber. She's suspended. At the very least, film a segment where she's outside the arena and they won't let her in. Get the crowd all fired up because they were already fired up for Becky as it was. They would have been chanting for Becky even louder because they knew she was outside the front door. She would have never made it in. But how she even got in the fucking building in the first place is mind-boggling to me when the person is suspended and is not allowed to be at the fucking arena. She snuck her way in with her crutches. Nobody's seen her in her fucking black and bright yellow stripes. Flaming orange hair. You didn't see her hobbling down the hallway. Nobody thought, hey, there's Becky. She's suspended. Go get her. Stop her. She's headed towards the ring. Does she have a ticket? No, get her out of here. No, we didn't get any of that. We didn't get any common sense. We got Becky Lynch just in a, I don't want to even call it a beeline because it was too slow. It's more like a Z line because it could have took a nap by the time she made it to the fucking ring. And then you got Charlotte and Ronda both standing there while she's hobbling herself into the ring, flopping and blopping all over herself. Barely able to stand, and they're both just standing there, like letting the girl stand up. Like, if you're Charlotte Flair, why didn't you just go knock her the fuck out before she even got up? Keep her from getting in the ring. Call for fucking security. You got a microphone in your hand. Security, Becky's here. She's suspended. Somebody do something. No, we're all just gonna fucking stand there. And then Becky Lynch just wailing away with the crutches, which, like I said, was kind of cool. If you want to stop being an asshole about things, which is what I do. I'm pretty much an asshole. But, you know, at least I admit it. But, you know, I can't disassociate myself from it. It just looked kind of stupid. And it was a forced segment to get pops from the crowd for the home viewing audience to see. And for everybody to be like, oh, we saw the man tonight. It was great. Was it really great? Think about it, you guys. You might be looking at it as, wow, that was so great. She did so fucking awesome. It was just like Stone Cold. But that's why I'm here, and that's why you come to me, because I need to just bring you out of your cloud just a little bit, because it would have been so much more special had she been continuing for the next week to try to get into every show, fail to get into every show, and then finally bust in, unbeknownst to anybody, because she was in disguise in the crowd or some shit, and then she hops the rail at Ric Flair's birthday and just armbars everybody until everybody's tapping out to the man, and then she gets her way back into WrestleMania. That would have been magical, but instead we have to do this. And, you know, you might have appreciated it, and that's fine. You're not an idiot for enjoying wrestling. I don't come down on you guys like that. It's just I see things from this other angle. So if I enlightened you as to why this was not good, let me know in the comment section down below, or smash that thumbs up, just because, hey, sometimes you learn a little something here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Going further down this card, we had more trash. More trash. With Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman. A match nobody wanted to see in the first place. A match that did nothing but take up time, and it will never give me back the minutes of my life that I had to sit and watch this ridiculous fucking match. Why do you give a shit about Braun Strowman anymore? And then when this match is over, even more so. Why would you care about him even more now? I assumed, as probably many of you did, we were going into this match for Braun Strowman to finally do something and get rid of Baron Corbin. Maybe knock him in the head so hard that he remembers where the fuck his wrestling gear is. Maybe knock him out so long that by the time he wakes up he has some of his fucking hair back. Maybe he puts his old vest back on. I don't know. Something. But no, what did we get? What did we get here? We got Baron Corbin being placed as the head of some impromptu faction, which is involving Bobby Boring fucking Trashley, the Milk Dud, and Drew McIntyre. You got nothing better to do with Drew McIntyre than put him next to Baron fucking Corbin, and now you're associating Lashley with these two again, all to have the three of them pull a Shield and triple powerbomb Braun Strowman through a bunch of stacked tables. And I'm supposed to do what? I'm supposed to get a hard-on now because you broke a couple of double stacked tables? Because we haven't seen that since back in the days of ECW. What good does that kind of shit do for a company? What did it do for ECW? Nothing. Where the hell are they? You're putting double stacked tables on there, putting Braun Strowman through it like I give a shit about Braun Strowman anyway. All I'm hoping now is, oh good, maybe he'll be off TV for a few fucking weeks and they'll think about something new to do with Baron fucking Corbin and Braun Strowman, because I'm tired of seeing them in the ring together. But now Baron Corbin is not the leader of Monday Night Raw, but he's going to be the leader of this weird fucking trio of nothingness? Why? Why do we have to be subjected to Constable Corbin dickhead on a continual basis? And to make him come out looking the way he did tonight. For what? For what? To waste our time. And think about this for a second. Let me throw this one at you. Braun Strowman was taken out of the main event match at the Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar because Vince McMahon did not want him to continue to lose on television. He didn't want him to lose to Brock again on pay-per-view. He was almost maybe coming to his senses, as in like, I don't want to keep pushing the monster down. We got to start building him back up. So they decided to opt with Finn Balor. But now you have him come to the Elimination Chamber and lose to Baron fucking Corbin and his two gigantic minions? What? I don't get it. I don't get it in the least. And that was the entirety of the card until we got to the main event, which was the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. This match, as great as the ending was unpredictable in a bad way. If you would have come at me before this matchup and told me Samoa Joe was not going to be, at least towards the end in the Final Four of this match, I would have told you were crazy. If you would have told me Samoa Joe was going to be the first person eliminated from an Elimination Chamber match, I would have thought you were out of your mind. Samoa Joe came into this thing to do absolutely nothing. He had a great little series with Daniel Bryan at the beginning, And he didn't even last long enough for the fourth competitor to get into the match. Jeff Hardy gets into this matchup, and he's pretty much a wasted spot. He was a wasted spot. How long was Jeff Hardy in this thing? For about 3 minutes? Until you got AJ Styles in there with Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston came into this match third, which we all pretty much expected he was going to be the first one out based off of his performance in the Gauntlet match on Tuesday. You almost knew they were going to try to make Kofi the Iron Man, even though he wasn't 1 or 2. He was subsequently let out third. It just didn't flow to me. It didn't flow to me, and this match actually didn't start to come around. While it did have its moments, I liked a couple of things that AJ Styles did. You know, he did a phenomenal forearm from the inside of the ring to Daniel Bryan, who was on the cage, just holding on to the cage, and he did it kind of mid-air. I mean, there was a couple of really cool spots for everybody. But this match meant absolutely nothing, almost, until Kofi Kingston eliminated the Viper, Randy Orton. Randy Orton came in to a field of 4 men and had his pick of the litter of who he was going to eliminate. And then before you knew it, he was the one out. After a tremendous RKO to AJ Styles as he was going to execute the phenomenal forearm in midair, Randy Orton eliminates AJ Styles and then finds himself the victim of a Trouble in Paradise by Kofi Kingston, eliminating Randy Orton, leaving only Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. And now this matchup that was so very exciting on Tuesday is going to take place again. We already seen Kofi Kingston beat the champion on Tuesday. Is it possible that Kofi Kingston is going to come out on top here? And then the crowd dynamic just took this thing to a whole nother level. And you could feel that the competitors felt it as well. Daniel Bryan delivering kicks to the midsection of Kofi Kingston, and he's just like, yeah, bring it on. Hit me again. Give me more. Action from the top of the pod. Kofi going for it all on multiple occasions. He leapt from the top of the pod looking for a big old splash on Daniel Bryan, but came up empty. Everybody thought that was the end of the match. He ended up eating a running knee right to the face and kicked out. I can't even remember how many times he kicked out. He did it so much. I said this on the SmackDown Live review, and I'm going to say it again. You got to change this man's name from Kofi Kingston to Kofi Kickout. The guy was just fucking fantastic. He was absolutely incredible tonight. And so many times you truly believed that the WWE was actually going to give this thing to Kofi Kingston. While all of the common sense in your head was telling you no, because we all knew that Daniel Bryan wasn't going to lose the championship on the road to WrestleMania. There were multiple occasions where for just one split second you were like, holy shit, he did it! But then no, it was just that close. And now, as a result of this, as I made a little mention of before, they've given you something that you didn't even know that you've ever wanted to see before. And you now want to see it continue even more so. Kofi Kingston has now, twice in 1 week, put on fantastic matches against the champion. In the Gauntlet match, he beat him. At the Elimination Chamber, he lost. Let's have a rubber match. And not at fucking Fastlane. At WrestleMania. What is Daniel Bryan doing for WrestleMania? Who do they have built up for WrestleMania? Nobody. What, are you going to have Daniel versus AJ Styles again? Why would you do that now after he just lost in the Elimination Chamber? The same holds true for Joe or Orton or Jeff Hardy. Who else are you going to bring up? You can make an argument for Andrade Cien Almas, but he's a little busy with Rey Mysterio, and quite frankly, I'd like to see that culminate itself at WrestleMania separately. Maybe for the United States Championship if they want to do something for gold. But what is Daniel Bryan going to do at WrestleMania? They have no plans as far as we know. This is the plan. It may have been accidental. They may not have intended it. But much like the road with Becky Lynch, this is the road they need to take with Kofi Kingston after this tremendous night at the Elimination Chamber for him. This was a hot and cold show, man, because the Elimination Chambers, both of them, started off a little sloppy, and then by the time it was over, really got interesting and really told an interesting story. Sasha and Bayley, congratulations to them. That was a very, very good match as well. I think that the women's tag team Elimination Chamber match was actually better than the men's one that we had in 2015. Call me crazy, but I just feel like after Nia Jax and Tamina were eliminated and this thing got down to the nitty-gritty and we didn't have the fear of them winning, it just became a really great match. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that these 4 girls were in the Elimination Chamber before, but I really did enjoy how everything finished up. And Sasha Banks with that very unique twist on the bank statement as her arm was just too injured from being thrown into the pod earlier in the match that she couldn't really lock it in, so she did it with her legs. And while Bayley was half asleep on the outside, Sasha Banks gets Sonya Deville to tap out, and we have new Women's Tag Team Championships. Actually, I shouldn't say new. I should say we have the revival of the Women's Tag Team division. They did make mention of it tonight, and kudos to them for doing that. They should have made a little bit more mention. Maybe a little video package just to highlight some of the women that were in the Tag Team division once before, just to give them, a little bit of props, since you want to try to say that they've been working so hard and they tried to do this all those years ago, but, they just were a mere mention and a throwaway. Speaking of mentions and throwaways, we're not going to talk too much about Corey Graves and Carmella and that whole shit. Everybody knows by now. If you don't know, Corey Graves has been banging Carmella, and his wife is leaving him for it. Carmella's a homewrecker. Corey Graves ruined his family, and yada, yada, yada. We're not going to get all personal about it. All I'm going to say is it makes listening to Corey Graves call a Mandy Rose match even more cringy than it was in the first place, because it just takes your mind to a whole nother place. Like, he's on this whole thing where she's the greatest thing on earth, and she's, the golden goddess, God's greatest creation, but meanwhile you're banging some cross-eyed Staten Island dump girl. What? That's all we're going to say. And if you were still here at 31 minutes for that Staten Island dump joke, I want to know what you thought about it, because I thought it was pretty fucking cool. And if you watch Jersey Shore, you know that that's where I took it from. But it's definitely appropriate in this set scenario, because I just don't get it, bro. But to each his own, But that's another story for another show. Speaking of another story and another show, if you guys missed, this weekend we dropped my 5 most shocking Elimination Chamber winners. We didn't get very many shocking winners of the Chambers tonight, just a couple of very good Chamber matches by the time all was said and done. But if you want to see my picks for the 5 winners that I thought were the most shocking in the now 24 times we have seen the Elimination Chamber, go check out that video. It is live on the channel right now, and I will leave it linked in the annotations up above for you guys to do so. If you missed any of our coverage of Raw and SmackDown or anything else over the last month, that will be up and available as well. And all I need from you guys right now, as always, is to join the family if you are not already one of the over 1,200 sledgeheads that fill this family with love and respect and make me feel so happy every single time I drop a video just like this one. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button right now. Ring that notification bell so every time I drop one of these awesome videos, you will be notified and you will not miss a thing, like our Monday Night Raw review, which is up every single Monday night. Every Tuesday night, we bring this hammer down on SmackDown Live. Following each and every major pay-per-view, we cover NXT. When takeovers come around, we are all over the place, and we are bringing the hammer down, our newest show, which is where we do our top 5 lists and our little editorial and opinion pieces. And we got another one coming up for you guys on the road to WrestleMania, so make sure you don't forget to hit that notification bell and that subscribe button so you do not miss all of the upcoming stuff, as this road to WrestleMania just got pretty interesting, since all the champions that are in place at the moment make for some pretty interesting WrestleMania matches. Also, smash that like button if you enjoyed today's show, if you agreed with anything I said, if I made you smile, if I made you laugh, if I made you mad, if I made you feel anything at all, just like the elimination made me feel the feels. Hit that thumbs up right now and show your approval and let the world know that it is A-OK over here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Share this video with each and every one of your wrestling friends all over the wrestling world, especially if they had a decent time watching the Elimination Chamber and need somewhere to vent out their frustrations or hear some other point of view, which I am always more than happy to oblige. And before we say goodnight, we have to pay some bills, and this show is brought to you guys by Audible. You guys know the drill by now. I'm sure you've heard of the Audible trial from so many other outlets as well, but it goes like this: 180,000 books that you can pick from for you to listen to in your ears so that you don't have to waste time dirtying your fingers flipping pages or hurting your eyeballs looking at tiny little letters. You can put this in your ears and fulfill your fantasies of listening to whatever book it is you want to listen to. You want to listen to wrestling books? They got them. You want to listen to some sci-fi, Star Wars, whatever you're into? They got them. You want to learn another language? They got that too. And you know how you can get them is from this show right here. And you can get them at audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv, our exclusive link for our fans. If you haven't signed up before, go check it out right now. 30-day free trial, free audiobook. Cancel the trial if you want. Still keep that book for the rest of your whole entire life. audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv, all one word. And if you have already Audible, you know how awesome it is. Feel free to extend this link to all of your friends and family and encourage them to get their free damn book, man. It's worth it. And at the same time, they will be supporting your favorite wrestling show, and why not have them come on over and watch along as well, and they can subscribe and hit the like button and join my family here, full of all of my brothers and sisters, you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sledgeheads. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being with me every single week as we continue on our journey to 2,000 subs, and you guys are going to help me do it because we have the most awesome wrestling fans in the whole entire world, and they reside right here. Right here, where you're watching right now, down there in the comment section. That's your special spot, man. So make sure you leave me a comment and let me know how you guys enjoyed tonight's show. That, my friends, is going to do it. Don't forget to be here for tomorrow night's Raw because I have a feeling it's going to be a good one coming off of this Elimination Chamber. That is going to do it, and we are out of here. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and the Wrestling God of Thunder, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is you. Thank you, as always, for being here. That now, finally, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV. Boom.